Welcome to a special episode of the MC Report. I'm the host, Kolstin Diven. Aiden is not here today, so you just get me and a still shot for about an hour. Now, what we have here is that I'm going to rank, in my opinion, every quarterback that I want to on how I think they'll do in 2026, barring retirements. Rodgers, I'm going to rank. Stafford, I'm going to rank. I don't think anybody else retires. Maybe Kirk, but I don't think it'll really matter. So, I'm going to go over the rankings because it's not very good. I looked beforehand. This is elite. I believe 3 quarterbacks will be here at the top, in my personal opinion. Maybe 5. Superstar, maybe 5 to 7. Star, probably 7 to 9. Development with superstar upside and development with star upside are these two. You're going to see maybe a multitude combining for like 7. Average starters, probably going to be a lot. Fridge starters, probably going to be a lot. Development with star upside, I believe there's only 3. High-level backups and average backup are not going to have a lot, but I feel like there's going to be some. We're just going to go in order of the NFL, so Arizona Cardinals to Minnesota Vikings. So we start with, by the way, some of these quarterbacks will not be on like their teams that say here, like Kyler Murray, we're going to start with. I'm going to go based off my projections. So, like, Malik Willis, who we will get to, I have him starting at the Dolphins. So, just to let you know. Kyler Murray. I think his days as the Cardinal are done. As I'm recording this, he just said he's not going to play on the staff for Arizona. If I had to guess, probably to the Jets. But even if so, I would say an average starter. I'm not big on Kyler. I don't think he's really been that good his entirety of his career. But he's been okay. I think he's been, this guy you can rely on for a solid game, but I don't think you'd get an elite game from him unless you gave him like Hopkins and Marquise Brown, like what he had a couple years back. But I've never thought of him as this superstar upside guy, even out of college. Yes, he's a great runner, but that doesn't translate in the NFL, so I don't think that's really that big of a deal. Jacoby Brissett, I'm going to put in high-level backup. This feels self-explanatory. He's been a backup his entire career. He's got the rings. He was on the Patriots, but I'm not very big on Jacoby Brissett. He's solid, but he's not going to lead you to a Super Bowl. Michael Penix, I'm going to give development with star upside. You could argue this is better than average starter, but the way this is picked, it technically is less. But I still believe in Penix. Obviously, injury concern is very big because torn ACL twice, I believe maybe 3 times because in college. But he's been interesting. I don't know if he's even going to be the starter next year. There's questions marks about that. But, it be what it be. I don't think Penix is that bad of a quarterback. I have always liked him, even coming out of college. But, man, has he had a rough start to his career. Kirk Cousins I will do. I'm going to put him. This is going to be changed at the end. But he's either the lowest of high-level backup or the highest of average backup. So, yeah, Kirk, your days are over. If I'm being honest, Kirk, you just got cut. Unless you go to Minnesota, I would retire because you got your bag. You didn't get a Super Bowl ring, but unless you want to sit as a backup, I don't think you're getting one. So that's all we're going to do for those 2 teams. Lamar Jackson. Now, this may be somewhat controversial. I'm going to put him in superstar. I don't think Lamar's elite. I think that he's very, very good. Don't get me wrong. But elite to me, and I'll spoil it, is like a Patrick Mahomes and a Josh Allen. And Allen has proven many a time he can beat Lamar at his own game. Maybe rushing, maybe passing. I think Josh has had less to work with and done better. And I think that, Lamar, as talented as he is, can't get over the hump that is the AFC Championship, AFC Divisional. If he faces Mahomes or Allen, you might as well chalk the season. Even Burrow, he's had some problems with. So I'm not big on Lamar. Now, granted, he's still better than Justin Herbert. I'll give him his flowers. But, yeah, I don't see him as this elite quarterback. Tyler Huntley, I am going to put in fringe starter. I am not big on Tyler Huntley, but I also think that he is solid. We saw in the Ravens-Packers game. He didn't need to really do much. Derrick Henry ran all over the Packers. Sorry, Aiden. But Tyler Huntley is not that bad of a quarterback. I think if you put him in as a starter, you're not going to make the playoffs. But you'll be 6-11, maybe 5-12. But it's going to be like these close games, which I think is what most teams will want. This is another situation where Huntley could be somewhere else next year. I don't personally think so. We're going to get our first elite quarterback Josh Allen goes at the very top. It's Josh Allen. I don't really know what you want me to talk about. His turnovers are a problem, but also that's kind of just part of his play. He reminds me of Brett Favre, but also 6'5". So, I'm a big believer in Josh Allen. I think he will definitely get a ring before his career is done, maybe 2. I still think that they are easily the best team in the AFC East. Sorry, no, actually not sorry, Drake May. You're so annoying. But yeah, I am not big on that AFC East. I don't know. I'm getting off track, but Allen is one of the best. You could argue he is the best. I don't personally think so. I think there's one above him. I won't say, but I'm guessing you know. Yeah, Josh Allen. He just deserves to be an elite. Everything he's done has been impressive. Came out of Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen, and he's done this. Bryce Young. This is somewhat of a weird spot to put him. I'm going to either put him, for right now, I'm going to put him with number 9 in Penix at developmental with star upside. But I'm going to be honest, I think he could be at the bottom of developmental. Man, I can't say that word. With superstar upside. Bryce Young, with what he's been given besides T-Mac, has been terrible, and they just made the playoffs. Granted, they went 8-9, but still making the playoffs with that team when you have the Bucs and the Falcons, which I think are better teams on paper, is impressive. I think Bryce Young is not going to be this Super Bowl winner, if I had to be honest, but I think he's better than almost everybody in that draft class. I think Stroud, you could argue, is better. We'll get to him. That's going to be later in the video. Stay tuned. But, we'll see. Bryce Young, he's a solid quarterback. I just can't see him right now. He's definitely better than the average starter. I think he's better than Kyler already because Kyler hasn't really done much. But I think Bryce Young, with what he's been given, is very solid. Caleb Williams. Now, this is an interesting one. For right now, I'm going to put him in star. This is barring any changes at the end. He will either be top of star or the back of superstar. I am not sold on Caleb Williams, at all. I think Caleb is a very talented quarterback. Obviously, we saw last year. But is it more of a question of, is it Ben Johnson doing it, or is it Caleb, or a mixture of both? Me personally, in the first year, I think it's more Ben Johnson. First year as a head coach, got some tricks up your sleeve. You can make some good things happen. Do I see them doing that for, the rest of all of this? No. I don't think Caleb is going to be this elite guy. I just think that with what he's been given, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden on the up and up, Colstin Loveland, I don't know why you took him over Tyler Warren, and Cole Kmet, which honestly, that's a very good core. I think they probably could have done better, if I'm being honest. If you have, I don't know. I think if you have one of these two, you can maybe go to the Super Bowl. I would argue if you had Bryce Young, you could be better, but that's a topic for another day. Joe Burrow is going to be joining Josh Allen in the elite tier. I don't care if he has Jamar Chase. I don't care if he has T. Higgins. I don't care if he has, these elite weapons. He's still elite. He's still better than Lamar. I stand by that. And even though I don't think he's won an MVP. He's the only quarterback of these top 3 to make it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, he did lose. But even barring that, with a defense so bad that Burrow has to literally ball out to even get a chance at the playoffs, he's one of the best. I think, honestly, even if Jamar Chase were to be traded tomorrow, I would still put him at the top of that tier. I think Allen is better. I think that it's been shown that Allen kind of has Burrow's number. Depends on the game. But I just truly think Burrow, even with his weapons around him, he has no defense. He has an arguably bad special teams, O-line, Chargers-like, and he's made the Super Bowl. He's made the playoffs multiple times. Just missed the playoffs last year, but also he was injured, so I don't think, it's really that big of a deal. We will do Joe Flacco. I'm going to put high-level backup. I'll put him behind Jacoby Brissett. Flacco still got it. I think Flacco, even though being so old, could start somewhere. You could argue. I honestly think he could go back to Cleveland and maybe start. Sorry, Shador. But I truly believe Joe Flacco is a solid quarterback. He's very old. Next year, he could be turning into dust. But I believe Flacco will get somewhere. Jake Browning goes at the bottom. I don't think I need to explain that. If you watched any game with Jake Browning, you'd understand. Shador, controversial quarterback. He's had the worst Pro Bowl appearance ever. I think it was like 5 touchdowns, 8 picks in the regular season, and he made it. Goes to show. Pro Bowl means nothing. But even then, I'm going to put developmental with star upside. I need to see more out of him, obviously. He only had a couple games. But I honestly think Shador is probably the Browns' answer right now. Now, is he good? I'm going to be honest. I don't think so. I don't even think he's really... I mean, I would take everybody above him besides maybe Tyler Huntley. But Shador is just kind of on and off. Now, granted, most of his picks came in garbage time, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But, yeah, he's not this superstar upside guy. There's a reason why he fell to the 5th round. So, I'm shocked he was projected to go in the 1st anyway. Dylan Gabriel, I've seen enough. I'm going to put him in high-level backup behind Flacco, above Cousins. You could argue he goes at the bottom with Jake Browning. I have not seen anything impressive from him. He played over half the year. He was a check-down merchant. Just can't have that. He's not a good quarterback. That's all I got to say. Yes, he's young. Could he get better? Maybe. But he has no arm strength, and I just don't believe in him. Deshaun Watson goes at the bottom. Dak Prescott. This is a weird one because I think Dak, at his peak, is a superstar. I think, honestly, he belongs with Lamar. But at the bottom, he's an average starter. So I'm going to meet in the middle. I'm going to put him in star. I think Dak will not make it to superstar, so I will put him below Caleb. But he's still a solid quarterback, even at, 31, 32. Now, the question is, you're running out of time with Dak, obviously. And also, I don't think he makes it to the Super Bowl. I just don't fully trust Dak Prescott to get a deep playoff run unless their defense is just the 2000 Ravens. I just don't think that. And obviously Dallas is not known for, all of that. I would do Joe Melton because I'm a firm believer Joe Melton's actually pretty solid. Best arm strength in the league. But I haven't really seen anything of him. So if I just can't put him anywhere. Bo Nix. This is a little bit controversial. I don't think he belongs in superstar. I'm going to put him with Caleb in star at the top of it. I think Bo Nix is better than Caleb. I think I've seen enough to where I can say that. But also, you could argue his defense is what got him there. There's been games, obviously, you don't want to be behind by so much that you just don't be able to play. But I still stand by this. If Knicks played in the AFC Championship, they go to the Super Bowl. I don't think May really stands a chance. And maybe they win the Super Bowl with Bo Nix. Who knows? But is he a superstar? I don't think so. You need to have generational talent to be a superstar, in my opinion. And you need to have extraordinary talent to be in that elite tier. And right now, Knicks and Williams don't really have that. I would do Jared Stidham, but he played one game, so we're not going to do it. Jared Goff, I'm also going to put in star, but I'm going to put him behind Dak, Williams, and Knicks. I think he's solid. I don't think there's anything really bad about Jared Goff. I just don't think there's anything truly elite about him either. He's just one of the quarterbacks. He has a great supporting cast, so even when he was with the Rams, I don't think he had a great supporting cast. Even with the Rams, I would put him an average starter. Granted, it was early in his career. But what the Lions and Rams did was a great trade for both sides. I still think the Rams win because they got a Super Bowl so far. But Goff has succeeded in the Lions, type of play. Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. They had a third receiver that I forget. Oh, Isaac Tasslaw, my GOAT. Please trade for him, Chargers. That won't happen. But I truly think Goff is a solid quarterback. I just don't think he's really got that it factor. I think that he honestly, with the situation he's in, I think he could make the Super Bowl. The question is, whoever you're facing in the AFC side obviously has to be solid. They made the Super Bowl. But I also think they're probably going to have a better quarterback than Goff, and that might be the problem. Oh, boy, Jordan Love. Now, I was thinking about this, and I'm going to tell you right now. It's either above Caleb Williams or below Caleb Williams in the middle there. And Aiden's going to be mad about this. I think I'm going to put him below Caleb. Caleb obviously had a very solid sophomore season. I think that he, despite his rookie season getting sacked about 1 billion times, bounced back, had a great year, and made it farther than Love's ever had, I believe. If I might be wrong about that. Maybe he made the NFC Championship. But Love's most impressive win to me was in the playoffs against Dallas. And Dallas is known for choking, so I don't think that's really saying much. Caleb's most impressive win was against Love. Now, granted, I don't think it was Love's fault they lost that game because Love was 4 touchdowns, no picks. But also, you got to take into account the Packers did nothing in that second half. They scored 1 touchdown and called it quits. And obviously the play calling has something to do with that. But there are also a couple plays Love probably could have gotten back and done more with. This also might change, but as of right now, right this second, with how last season went, I just can't justify putting him above Caleb Williams. So, sorry about that. Malik Willis. I have always been a firm believer in Malik Willis, but as of right now, I'm going to put him below Bryce Young in developmental with star upside. Now, Malik, as I said, I think he becomes the Miami Dolphins quarterback because that just seems like a Miami thing to do. And I think that he's a solid quarterback, but the thing is that I don't know if that – obviously, they're treating it off one game, mind you, a couple games, obviously 2 last year, 1 this year. But based off what we've seen, I've seen nothing bad from him, but I've also seen nothing extraordinary. And you got to be extraordinary to get anything above here. You could argue average starter, but he hasn't started. So I don't think that he really deserves that. Yeah, I just don't truly think, as of right now, he deserves to be anything above and anything below. He's in the perfect spot right there. C.J. Stroud, there's sophomore slump, hit him hard. This second, whatever you want to call it, season, hit him harder. As of right now, I'm going to put him right beside Bryce Young in developmental with star upside, with Young above him. I think that – no, I won't. I lied. I think Stroud has had higher moments but lower floors. Young just hasn't really had anything. So I think I would take Stroud being iffy than Bryce Young not really doing much so far. Now, granted, the question is, does Stroud get back to that heights he was in which case, you're up 24-0 on the Chiefs, and then, the Chiefs came back. But still, I think there's a solid chance that Stroud does outplay Young in the form of his career, but I just don't know if I can justify average starter or even superstar upside. I just can't. So, Davis Mills, I am gonna rank. I'm gonna put him at high level backups above Flacco, below Brissett. He was undefeated as a starter in Houston this year, so I feel like that justifies getting a ranking. Now, obviously, there's gonna be that second to last one's gonna be filled, but Davis Mills is not an elite quarterback by any means. He's not even really a great quarterback. But with what he did, he beat the Bills, beat the Jags, 2 playoff caliber teams. He beat another one. I forget. But he was a solid quarterback. I just can't say that he's a starter because he's not. I'm going to be honest. Daniel Jones, just before this recording, he was able to get a what's it called? Like a franchise? It wasn't a franchise tag. It's the one where it's like you can look for other options, but the Colts can match. It's like a matching offer. As of right now, he was injured so early that I'm gonna put him at the top of average starters. There's an argument to be made developmental with superstar upside, which we may put him in, but obviously he's not that young anymore. But we saw Sam Darnold, who we will get to, had a career resurgence. So you can argue, maybe that he should be, in that superstar upside because there's still some people that could break out later in their career. So I think definitely a solid quarterback, a good bounce back year, but I need to see a little bit more from him. Anthony Richardson, I am still going to put him in developmental with star upside, but he's hanging on to that by a thread. I think that he, if put in the right situation, can maybe get something going, but I just can't see him really doing much. I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson. I will also do Riley Leonard. I'm going to put him above Richardson, in which case I think he can do something. I just don't think he will. Yeah, 1 game, and he was playing against backups, and he barely lost. So, not much to go off of, but I think he can do something. Phillip Rivers, obviously retired, but if I had to put him somewhere, I would put him just below Flacco and above Gabriel. I'm a Chargers fan, so I like Phillip Rivers, but No, I would steer clear from a 44-year-old, 45-year-old now. Yeah, I just can't justify that. So we're gonna keep him in the backup tier. Trevor Lawrence. This is an interesting one because I think Trevor Lawrence in his career has had really good highs but really bad lows. I'm going to put him below Dak, above Goff. I think Lawrence obviously beat my Chargers, 27-0 lead. That sucked. But not much really has transpired besides that. They were the most quiet 13-4 team, or maybe 12-5. I believe it was 13-4 I've ever seen. But also they just need to do a little bit more. And I think Lawrence could still be very good. I've always kind of believed in Trevor Lawrence. I don't hate the Jags by any means, despite them owning us 35-6 and what was it, 31-30. But he's been great. I can't stray on him too much. Mahomes goes at the very top of elite. He's Patrick Mahomes. I hate him. I'm a Chargers fan, but gotta appreciate greatness when it's there. He's just a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. So, that sucks putting him there, but whatever. I will do Gardner Minshew. I do really like Gardner Minshew. I'm gonna put him high level backup in the third spot. You could argue second above Mills. Actually, I'm gonna put him there. I think he's better than Davis Mills. Minshew Mania is back, baby. He's probably gonna be starting next year unless they get like a veteran of some sort. This could be a Joe Flacco type thing. He goes into the Chiefs, but I think he's a solid backup, but obviously nothing more. The Raiders quarterbacks of doom and despair. I will only be doing Geno Smith for your own eyes, and he's going to go in a high-level backup at the very top. I'll put him fridge starter at the bottom. I think that Geno is something. He's one of the quarterbacks of all time. He really needs to bounce back, but, it be what it be. I think that Geno is in a bad spot, and maybe next year he can be better, but also he's going to not start, and they can't cut him because of the money unless he restructures. So, kind of stuck with where he is. I'm very biased before we do this. Justin Herbert goes in superstar. I just think he's super good. I'm sorry. I think that he has so much talent, and we're just wasting it. This feels like Phillip Rivers. Granted, Phillip Rivers had more, I think, than Herbert right now. But Herbert's had so many chances to get that first playoff win, and we just haven't. We just haven't. If man, but I am a Chargers fan, so I can't say that. Just great, absolute great quarterback. I think talent-wise, he's better than Phillip Rivers, but Rivers has made it farther. So hopefully my GOAT gets a playoff win next year. I would really like that. We will do Trey Lance because I feel like, everybody wants to know where I want my backup to be. I'm going to put him with Dylan Gabriel. I think that, he's just not great. I'm also going to move Kirk Cousins up. I think that he's better than Trey Lance and Dylan Gabriel. Sorry, Dylan Gabriel. But Lance, just not it. I don't know why the Niners drafted him at number 3. He was playing Dakota State or South Dakota State. I think it was North. But, he's just not a great quarterback. Matthew Stafford. I'm going to be honest. This may ruffle some feathers. I'm going to put him at the very top of superstar. I don't think he's elite. I think he has obviously, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. They may draft another receiver. There's been rumors of that. Tight end is iffy. But I think Stafford has so much weapons around him and great weapons at that really I think any quarterback could go in there and maybe make a playoff berth if the defense plays solid. That's what the Rams did, and they made the NFC Championship, losing to the eventual Super Bowl champion Seahawks. So that was a mouthful. But I think Stafford is still a superstar quarterback at his old age. The question is, when does he fall off? But we're going based off going into next year and some of last year. And as of right now, I have no reason to doubt that he won't just be super good again. So he's getting better with time. So that makes no sense. He's going to be playing until 50. Miami, I'm only going to do Tua. But also Tua might not even be a Dolphin next year. I'm going to put him at the top of fridge starter. I think that Tua has run its course, and I never really thought he was elite by any means. I never thought he had superstar upside. Maybe star upside like an average starter, but I don't even think he's done that. Kyler and Tua have been the subject of talk, and which is better. I would probably take Kyler if I had to be honest. I think Kyler has more question marks than Tua's just So yeah, I'm not big on Tua. I think that he may not even start next year. So 9, JJ McCarthy. I am gonna put him at the top of developmental with star upside. I can't do or starter upside. Excuse me. I think that McCarthy is not that great. I never really thought that out of college. He had a great scheme. Obviously, they were cheating, but he had Blake Corum and the great running game and offensive line they had, and McCarthy kind of just rode that to the win. Now, obviously, he's a winner. He's won in college and high school. The NFL hasn't really transpired that way. Granted, he's been injured, but as of right now, I don't think he can really reach anything above that. We will do Carson Wentz. I'm going to put Wentz at high-level backup beside Brissett. I think Wentz is solid. I'm going to be honest. I think Wentz, even at his old age, could go into another team and maybe start or at least to compete, like the Chiefs. I don't know why they got rid of him. But I think Carson Wentz, honestly, in my personal opinion, if they do not get a quarterback, Minnesota, which I have them getting Kyler Murray at the very least, they're going to get some veteran. I think Wentz could honestly start and do at least okay, maybe 7-10, 6-11. So, oh boy, Drake May. I am not sold on Drake May at all. This is actually kind of tough. I'm actually gonna put him all the way back here. I'm really not sold on Drake May at all. I seriously think it was because of the schedule and what he got dealt the cards with. Now, obviously, he made it to the Super Bowl, but I'm going off based off talent, and obviously, everybody above him is either in this star category, I should say, has not made the Super Bowl. But I guess Goff did, but I don't think May is just that superstar potential. He's very good, and if he does what he did next year, I will put him in superstar, but I can't justify it. I don't think May is that guy. I don't think he's this superstar quarterback that everybody should be talking about. Tyler Shuck. This may surprise some people. I'm going to put it at the top of developmental with star upside. I think that Shuck, based off what we saw, is a very solid quarterback. He had nothing to play for and was playing like the season was on the line. And now, granted, the problem, he came into the league at 25. He's going into age 26 next year, which is kind of the problem with Bo Nix. He came into the league at 24, but also he just made the AFC Championship and probably should have made the Super Bowl. So I have no problem with Tyler Shuck. I will do Spencer Rattler. He will be joining Jake Browning and Deshaun Watson at the bottom. He's going to be at the top of the bottom, so good for you. Yeah, he's not very great. Jackson Dart. We're going to get probably, if I don't feel like changing it, which I don't think I will, our first developmental with superstar upside. I'm a big fan of Jackson Dart. I'm a big fan of this Giants team, especially with Harbaugh, not my Harbaugh, but the other one, joining the Giants. I think he's a very solid quarterback. He's going to be the starter for maybe years to come, depending on what happens the rest of his career. But I think as of right now, he's done more for the Giants than Daniel Jones did for the Giants, because he didn't do much. But I think Dart, especially with this, there's a new type of energy in New York, and I think they really need it. I think this is a big pickup. Famous Jameis, I'm going to put in high-level backup as well at a very high level. I think as of right now, Winston is on the down and out, if I had to be honest. But I still think he can ball. I'm also going to put Russ right beside him. I think I would probably take Russ, but neither of these two are going to do much. I just think that I believe in both these guys. I like both of them. So in the atrocity that is Jets quarterbacks, I'm going to do Justin Fields. I used to be a big fan of Justin Fields, but I'm going to put him at fridge starter. I think Fields is a solid quarterback if given the right opportunity. 4-2 with Pittsburgh. In Chicago, he wasn't terrible, but I don't think he can be elite anymore, not even superstar. I kind of hope the Jets give him at least one more chance because they kind of gave up on him too quick. But, man, have the wheels fall off for Justin Fields. So that kind of sucks. We will not do Brady Cook. Jalen Hurts. Ooh, Jalen Hurts. That's a good question. I'm going to put him, I think, right here. I think that's fair. I think Hurts gets a little bit too much hate, but I also don't think he's the superstar by any means. I think he what he does very well, but also he's not really elite. Obviously, he won the Super Bowl. He did very well, and that's in both Super Bowls he's played in. He's balled out in both. He just lost one because James Bradbury. But a very solid quarterback, but I would take everybody above him in a heartbeat. You can argue Dak, honestly, but I think that he's done more than Dak. I will do Sam Howell because I'm a big fan of Sam Howell. I'm going to put him, being realistic, at high-level backup above Wentz, below Winston. You could argue above both these guys, but I'm still a firm believer in Sam Howell. But, he's probably not going to start anywhere for the rest of his career, which kind of sucks, but it be what it be. We're getting a lot of people on here, so if you see me moving the thing, you'll see why. Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to put right now an average starter above Kyler, below Daniel Jones. He's still got it. Unk's still got it. He's 40-something, and he's still putting up, pretty solid numbers. I think he will return. I think he will start for Pittsburgh. But if we don't see that, I'm going to do Will Howard because I think that Will Howard could start next year. I don't personally think so, but I think he could. I don't like Will Howard at all. I think that he deserves developmental with star upside, but from what I saw out of college, I'm not. No, I don't think this is your guy. He had way too much talent around him to justify anything. So I'm gonna give him that, but it be what it be. Brock Purdy, I'm gonna put right with Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Do I think Dak's better? Ooh, wait a sec. I'm actually going to change this a little. I'm going to put Dak above Hurts, and I'm going to put Hurts above Purdy. I think it's fair. Purdy is another subject of you're really good in that system. I think San Fran has an easy system for quarterbacks to get into. But also, Purdy has made the Super Bowl, so obviously he lost, which is heartbreaking. The Chiefs won another Super Bowl. But he's still a very solid quarterback. I have no hatred towards Brock Purdy. I think that what he's done has been great for the league, being such a late draft pick and going on to the Super Bowl, making it deep multiple times. But I think you could honestly put the next guy, which we're going to talk about, Mac Jones, in and have the same success. I'm going to put Mac Jones. I don't know. I'm going to put him right there for now. We may change it. I think Tua probably is a better quarterback if put in that system. But I think Mac Jones can still go somewhere and start. Now, granted, I've seen reports that the Niners want a second-round pick for him. That's not happening. But I think Mac Jones, maybe if he goes to Minnesota, he could start. I think if he goes to a couple teams, he could start. But put in that system, I think it's pretty easy to look good. So I'm not that big on it. Sam Darnold. This is actually going to be very controversial. Obviously, he just won the Super Bowl, but I'm going to put him at the very back of star. I think that he was very clutch when needed to be, but I'm not sold on him at all. I think that this is based off your own performance in your own games. And Kenneth Walker was Super Bowl MVP. The rushing game was very good for Seattle. Their defense was elite. The one thing that was overlooked is Sam Darnold. How did he play? Okay. I think he played okay. I think he's better than an average starter. He's better than Daniel Jones. You could argue better than Jared Goff, but I think Goff, okay, that's actually really tough. Goff or Darnold. Darnold won a Super Bowl. He's been bounced around the league. Goff has been a consistent playoff performer, but hasn't really made the heights of Darnold. I don't know. I think Seattle winning the Super Bowl really makes it tough. I guess based off the Super Bowl, I will put him above Goff. But I think May, if the quarterbacks were flipped, would have done more with Seattle than Darnold did with Seattle, and the Patriots would have done less with Darnold than May did with New England. So I would still take May over him, but Obviously, congrats to Darnold making the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl is no easy feat. But I don't truly think Sam Darnold is this elite superstar quarterback. I just don't truly think that. So, next up we got Jalen Milroe. We have seen nothing from Jalen Milroe. I'm going based off college. I seriously think he can be a starter somewhere. I don't know where. He won't start in Seattle because Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl. But they said beginning of last year, they would put him in some Wildcat packages to trick their opponent. He did not do that, at all. He got, 2 snaps. But I think Jalen Milroe is still, honestly, a very solid mobile quarterback. Obviously, we've seen multiple times, unless your name is Lamar Jackson, mobility does not translate in the NFL, at all, because everybody's the same speed, or at least close to it. But Milroe, I have faith. I really do. This is not an Anthony Richardson situation where it's just running ability. Milroe was able to pass. He just leaned more on his run. Baker Mayfield. He kind of fell off a little bit, but I still am a firm believer in Baker. I will put him in star. I put him above Purdy. I think he deserves above Purdy. I will not put him above Hurts, but he's still a very solid quarterback. The question is, this is really with the entirety of the Bucs team, but we'll focus on Baker, is that team is old. I think Baker is getting up there in age, and as of right now, all the people above him, there's 3 more, and Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen. There's a lot more guys I would take over Mayfield, but he's a serviceable quarterback. He's very solid. Not even serviceable. I think this is serviceable, but he's a very solid quarterback that, probably could do more, but I just think as of right now, with what he's been through, being cut by the Browns, over to the Rams, getting your shot and completing it, and then going to the Bucs and being solid, he's been through the ringer and he came out on top. Cam Ward. Ooh, that's a good question. I think as of right now, I'll put him at the top of developmental with star upside. We just haven't seen enough Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward could honestly be here, but you went 3 and 14, so I don't really think that he's going to be a superstar based off what I've seen, but I still think he can be. Will Levis, I will do, because I honestly think he's somewhat solid. Now, is he elite? No, not at all, but I think that he's a okay quarterback. I think that he can get the job done. I'm also going to move Spencer Rattler back up here. I don't think he's that bad. But he's still pretty bad, but I don't think he's that bad. So, good on Spencer Rattler. You make it to the second bottom of the tier. Jaden Daniels. Obviously, he was injured last year. But I'm going to be completely honest. I have complete faith that Jaden Daniels will bounce back. I think that he's a great quarterback. I thought that out of college when he won the Heisman. And I thought that when he made it to the NFC Championship. I said, this guy will be special. This guy may bring a Super Bowl to Washington. He was close. He didn't make it. Philly ended up making it and winning it all, I believe. I believe that was that year. Maybe they lost that year. But, no, it was definitely their winning year. But Daniels is a very, very extraordinary quarterback. I think he's got the running ability. He's very smart with the ball, in my personal opinion. Obviously, some games he looks boneheaded. But he's just a great quarterback. I would not take him over Herbert, Lamar, Stafford, because he has been injured. But this is not a developmental with superstar upside. This is a superstar. This is the best quarterback in the entirety of that class. I am confident in saying that with Nix and Williams and everybody else and May. I think this is the best quarterback that Washington could have gotten. And obviously, Caleb, he went third, and as of right now, he's fourth in going as far as he did. Actually, I think he's second. He's second. Or third. He's third. May and Nix have made it farther, or as far, but I'm a full believer in Jaden Daniels. I love the man. This is my second favorite quarterback, probably. I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Actually, we only have one more to go, and then we can switch some stuff up, unless I want to add some of the guys at the bottom here, but I probably don't want to. Marcus Mariota, I'm going to put in fringe starter. I think he goes below Mac Jones, but I think he's a solid quarterback. We're going to put all the quarterbacks up on here so you can see all the list. I think Mariota is a solid quarterback. I think Mariota could start somewhere. The question is, I don't think the league is going to want this old quarterback to start for him unless you're like the Chiefs, in which case you just need a serviceable guy. And I think Mariota has done that this entire career. He's been serviceable. He's been okay, but he hasn't really been this elite guy. I think he's been solid, but even I think his best days are behind him. Especially, I think his best days were in Tennessee, but a solid season. A solid career. No, excuse me. A solid season for Mariota. Solid career for Mariota. Is there anybody else I want to add? Joe Milton. I mean, I would just put him in high-level backup. So, I guess we'll put him there. We'll put him in there. I think he can be solid. We'll put him in there. Is there anybody else? I don't think so. I think everybody else can stay at the bottom. Not very useful. I mean, Quinn Ewers, maybe I could put him in, but these two, maybe I could put him in, but I think we're going to stick with that. Is there anything I would like to change? Big problem. We got one quarterback in developmental with superstar upside and only 3 in average starter. So I am going to move both Goff and Darnold down to average starter. I will move Cam Ward up to developmental with superstar. I will not move anybody else up. I'm also going to move Shuck back a little. I don't think he deserves that much praise. So I think that'll do it. I think this is everybody in their ranking. I think this is solid. I don't think there's anything big I'm missing. I think this is a very solid list. Obviously, it's your opinion because it's a tier list. It's your opinion. But I think I answered about all the main quarterbacks, I feel like. In terms of teams that maybe have a change in quarterback, Pittsburgh could lose Rodgers, but I think he comes back. Murray is not going to be a Cardinal anymore. I don't even know who the Cardinals are going to have. I think the Jets probably get Kyler, or maybe the Vikings do. I probably the Jets, if I had to be honest. Or maybe Anthony Richardson going somewhere. But there's just a couple teams. But I think this is it. I like this list. I think it's a very solid list. Do I move? Ooh. See, I could make it 5 superstars and 1, 2, 3, 8 stars. That's tough, actually. Knicks or Williams? I think. We're keeping it as it is. I think it's fair. I think that's a good list. But this has been a special presentation of the MC report. You know, me giving my predictions. Obviously, Aiden wasn't here, or else we would agree to disagree on some of these. He would be foaming at the mouth with love below Williams. But I don't even think he would let Herbert or Daniels up there. So we'll see. Maybe he'll comment on the video. But especially with Darnold, I feel like he would get mad at that. Same with Goff. But from 1 to whatever number it is, I would count. But then we'd be here all day. Mahomes at 1, Allen at 2, Burrow at 3, Stafford at 4, Lamar at 5, Herbert, my GOAT, at 6, Daniels at 7, Knicks at 8, Caleb Williams at 9, and Love at 10. So Love does get into the top 10. Dak at 11, Hurts at 12, Mayfield at 13, Purdy at 14. Ironic because he's number 13 or 14. Actually, I'm going to make him number 13. I'm going to put him above Mayfield. I think that's fair. I think that number 13 deserves number 13. I think he's done a lot. Lawrence at 15, May at 16. Developmental with superstar upside, we got Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, 14 and 15. Average starters, Darnold, Goff, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Kyler Murray. Developmental with star upside, we got C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Tyler Shuck, Malik Willis, and Michael Penix Jr. Some of these guys hanging on by the skin of their teeth, especially Richardson. But fringe starter, we got Tua, we got Mac Jones, Marcus Mariota, Tyler Huntley, Snoop, Justin Fields, and Geno Smith. Both these guys hanging by a thread, both number 7. Ironic. Developmental with star upside, 9, J.J. McCarthy, Shador, It's Time, whatever, Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, and Anthony Richardson, who's hanging on to that by the skin of his teeth. High-level backups, there's a lot of them. We got Jacoby Brissett, Joe Milton, Will Levis, Russ, famous Jameis Winston, Sam Howell, Carson Wentz. I'm actually going to put Wentz above Howell. I think it's fair. Gardner Minshew, Davis Mills, Joe Flacco, my boy Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins, Spencer Rattler, Trey Lance, and Dylan Gabriel. And rounding out the bottom is Jake Browning, and then a big steep down, but I'm not making a new tier, is Deshaun Watson. So the fact that they're even thinking of starting him is crazy. But that's the list. I didn't really count. I stopped counting about halfway through, so, if you want to count it, you can. But we got all the quarterbacks on here, I think, that will start, maybe get a starting gig. Some of them maybe are going to be backups, especially these two. They're going to be backups. A lot of these guys will be backups. Some of these guys will be backups. Some of these guys. You get my point. But there it is. Bask in all of its glory. That's my official 2025, 2026 quarterback rankings. The only guy I can think of off the NFL draft that would be like a quarterback that is not here is Mendoza. I think he starts for the Raiders. If I had to put him somewhere, actually, we'll use a placeholder so you can, understand it. We'll use a Raider. We'll use Aiden O'Connell. Why not? I would put him right here. I think Mendoza is a solid quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be this. Yeah, he doesn't deserve anything up here yet. He hasn't played it down yet. But obviously I can't put him there because he doesn't play for the Raiders yet. Maybe he doesn't even play for the Raiders. Maybe they screw it up, trade back, give it to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals get Mendoza. I don't know. But that is the list from 1 to probably like 60-something. I'm not sure. But this has been a special presentation of the MC Report. I'm your host, Kolstin Diven. See ya.